Welcome to www.keepyourpoolsclean.com's presentation on in-ground swimming pool costs. Have you ever wondered what the actual costs of owning a pool are? This presentation will discuss and show the true costs associated with building and maintaining an in-ground swimming pool. This includes everything from your initial investment through prepping the pool for use to final monthly costs of utilities. So if any of this is of interest to you, please follow along. It is a very informative presentation. During this time, we hope to answer some questions that you might have if you're considering having a pool installed. Some of these being, what do you look for when having a pool built? What options will you have to select? What are the true costs of installing and owning a pool? Do you know how much it will cost to build a pool? Do you know how much it will cost to fill it with water? What about running the pump every day? What is the electricity cost of running it? How about if you have a heater? What is the cost of heating your pool? Our pool was purchased back in the year 2003. I tried to note these 2003 costs throughout the presentations, but sometimes I have converted them over to 2008. But I will show you a simple way to ballpark the conversion from prior years to your current year, so that you can tell the costs whether it be in the year 2008 or 2012. The cost of installing a new in-ground swimming pool is going to vary greatly. You could have a decent sized pool installed for as little as $15,000, or one that could cost upwards of six figures or more. Obviously, the more you have in your pool, the bigger the pool, the fancier the pool, the more amenities you have, the more it will cost. Upper limits, there's really no end to it. Here's the photo of our pool. It is nothing glamorous, but it's an average pool which provides a lot of enjoyment and refreshment. Now let's look at the major costs associated with a pool. The first is the type of pool. There are three types: the steel-walled vinyl lined, as shown in the picture, a fiberglass, and a gunite pool. Another factor in your costs will be the market that you're living in and the availability of pools. Although this video will deal itself exclusively with vinyl lined pool, there are other pools, fiberglass and gunite, and they should be competitively priced depending on where you live. In fact, some markets there are so many builders that the gunite pools are actually cheaper than the vinyl ones. In other instances, some environments, some areas require a gunite pool. The second biggest factor in deciding your pool cost is going to be the size and shape. We will look at two standard rectangular shapes as we go through this video. But you can also get other shapes, kidney shape, circular shapes, or other odd shapes. Obviously your costs will be dependent upon these three things: the size and the shape. You could have a larger rectangular shape built for the same price as a smaller kidney shaped pool. Lastly, although you have no control over it, the major cost of a pool is actually the labor. Gunite materials, which are generally just a cement mix, rebar, and pool, are generally cheaper than the materials for a vinyl lined pool. But the type of pool that a gunite is very labor intensive. On the other hand, the kit for a vinyl pool includes things that cost a bit more, like the steel walls, the framing, the steps, and the vinyl liner, but it goes up a lot quicker and is easier to install. Now let's look at the price quote or contract that you will get. When the builder quotes you a price, it will be based upon the type. In this instance, we're looking at a rectangular vinyl lined pool. The builder will not break out every little detail, but will give you a basic price and then give you a bunch of options that you can have or pass on, just like when ordering a new part. You get the basics, then if you want something more fancier, you pay extra for it or get the upgrade. There's about 20 or 30 different things that you have to decide upon when picking out a pool. 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them are listed here, and there's many more, such as the type of ladder, the type of bottom, the type of PVC pipe. Some of these things are standard, but some of them you have an option, like bottom drain. You want one, you want two. But for a complete list of these things, please visit this webpage, keepyourpool.clean.com, cost of installing a new pool, part 2, and you'll get the list of these 30 items. Finally, what you've been waiting for, the actual swimming pool pricing. But first, a few comments. The costs on the following pages are for a vinyl pool shown in the photo earlier. The costs are actual numbers back from the year 2003. If you want to convert this to a more recent time frame, simply figure 3 to 5% per year inflation or energy increases. As an example, if we assume a 3% inflation rate, from the year 2003 to 2008, the price would increase from $100 to $115. A $10,000 item in the year 2003 would be about $11,500 in the year 2008. Now for some actual pricing. These are the two sizes of pools we will be looking at, both rectangular. The basic cost of in 2003 dollars is $12,900 versus $15,200. Now you start adding in your options. One will be the brick coping around the edge of the pool. As shown in the photo earlier, this is a very nice thing to have. It makes the pool look classy, and it gives a nice edge for sitting on or standing on or jumping off of. You have the option of adding a heater. You have the option of adding a waterfalls. Waterfalls are very nice looking. They're nice to listen to, nice to look at, but they can add quite a bit to your pool. Another thing you want to add almost undoubtedly is a automatic cleaner. Polaris in this particular case is the manufacturer. This will make your maintenance much simpler. You also have to pay for electrical costs to have everything wired up and connected. A couple of options that will be afforded you at this time. Do you want to get a cover for it? Tarps at the cheaper side and run about $200, but if you want a safety cover which someone can actually stand on, it will run you closer to $1,000 or more. Other options you have to decide, although it's not an option, you have a choice of the type of filter you want. A cartridge filter in this instance costs about $600. You have to decide if you want a slide or a diving board. These are additional $400 and $500 a piece, for a total of $22,000 versus almost $25,000. If you remember the number before, the basic pool price is about $10,000 less. So you're paying $10,000 for these options, which will make it nicer or make it easier to maintain. In 2008 dollars, this would equate to about $25,000 or $29,000 in rough numbers. Unfortunately, since this tape is running a little long, we'll have to break it off here, and we'll pick it up again in part 2. Thank you for listening.